Welcome to Biff's Mystery Theater. I have many tales to tell you. Ghost stories, murder stories, and tales that will make your bones chill. Join me, won't you? For Theater of the Mind, where you always have the best seat in the house. Now close your eyes and turn off the lights.
Log entry, the Ketch Scarlet Queen, Philip Carney, master. Position, 9 degrees, 13 minutes south, 146 degrees, 30 minutes east. Wind fresh, sky fair. Remarks, departed Port Moresby, New Guinea after completion of salvage and rescue mission. Reason for mission, the Derelict and the Wandering Boy. We were 50 miles off the Lewis Strait archipelago, standing across the Coral Sea when we ran into the wall of rain. It blotted out the whole world. From the wheel, I could hardly see the Queen's bowsprit or the tops of her spars. And it continued. It brought squalls with it. The drops slanted across our decks and bit at us like insects. With nightfall, the visibility dropped to zero. We reefed sail, leaving aloft only enough canvas to give us headway. We inched forward, blindly, into complete, streaming darkness. I was at the wheel, and my chief mate, Gallagher, was below. He'd been at the radio sending out our position, speed, and course to any ships that might be in our vicinity. In an hour, he hadn't found any. It didn't take long to realize that things had changed when he came out of the cabin.
Well, I've got some great news for you, Skipper.
What's up, Red?
A distress call from the steamship Lawson. Captain Mark Reedy. And a great night.
Holy... What's her position, Red?
She's aground on a reef about 20 miles east of here in Messina Straits. She's our baby, Skipper. There's not another ship within 12, 14 hours of her.
With visibility like this?
Yeah.
Okay, Red, we'd be a fine pair if we didn't take a crack at it. Hey, Gordon!
Aye, sir.
Break out the watch. Stand by to trim sail. We're changing course.
Aye. Forward, Captain!
Go on, plot us a course, Red. We'll see if we can find it.
And so Mutual continues The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen, written by Gil Dowd and Bob Tallman, and starring Elliott Lewis. The Scarlet Queen, proudest ship to plow the seas, bound for uncharted adventure. Every week a complete entry in the log, and every week a league further in The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen.
We maintained radio contact with the Lawson as we groped blindly toward her through the rain. We learned that she was a small 1,000-tonner, carrying mixed cargo and 8 passengers. She was aground by the head, a hole torn in her forward plates by the sharp coral of the reef. We requested her to rig her brightest searchlight and to swing its beam in the direction of our approach. But a few hours later, when we picked our way carefully into Messina Straits, it was her steam whistle that caught our attention. Its monotonous call reached out for us across the rain-swept water. Then we picked up the faint glow of a light. And 40 minutes later, we pulled alongside.
Hey, the Lawson! We'll put a heaving line aboard you.
We're ready for you!
Okay, Red, toss her aboard. Good, Red. Send one hawser aboard, Red. We'll keep a strain and stay off the reef with the engine.
All right, Nielsen, that starboard bow line will do. Hold and take a turn around the ship side. Hey, the Lawson! Yeah! Send a couple of men to give me a hand at the ladder. I'm coming aboard.
Mighty glad you picked up our call, Captain. We're in a bad way.
I can believe it. She sounds like she's ripping her belly out on the reef. Are you the first officer?
That's right, sir. Tom Grist.
Where's Captain Reedy?
Oh, up in the chart room, most likely. 3 sheets to the wind, the way he was when he piled us up on his coral. If he doesn't lose his papers over this one, I'll be shark bait.
I'd better pay him my respects, don't you think?
Well, the ladder to the bridge deck is right through that passageway. I'd better stay on deck.
Okay, Chief. See you later. As I stepped through the passageway, the sounds of rain and water lowered, and the groan of the ship's bottom tearing itself on the reef seemed louder. I swung up the ladder leading to the bridge deck, past half a dozen frightened passengers huddled in the ratty little dining saloon below me. I found the chart room door just forward to the top of the ladder.
Who is it? And who might you be?
Captain Phil Carney to catch Scarlet Queen.
And what might you be doing forcing entry into my ship's chart room?
We picked up your distress call, Captain. We're standing by to
Distress call? Why, that mutinous devil, he took it on himself, did he? He'll be up before the ship and want for this. Mr. Grayson! Mr. Grayson, report to the chat room! He won't even answer me. Mutinous fool. Captain Mark Reedy never sent out a distress call in 40 years at sea. Cast off your ship, Captain. Leave me alone.
You better drink some coffee and get yourself back on an even keel. You got a ship breaking up under you.
It's my
You
ship.
can have her, Reedy. She won't live through a change of tide. Rising water will lift her free, so she'll sink from that hole in her bow. And she'll capsize if the water falls with her head jammed on the reef the way it is. Take your choice.
Would you join me in a drink,
No,
Captain?
thanks. I'm going down and start transferring your passengers to my ship and as much of your valuable cargo as I can handle.
Oh, wait a minute, Captain.
Yeah?
This is my ship. I don't know what you think of me.
I don't mind telling you, I think your line should have retired you 10 years ago. I don't think you're fit for a command.
Sit down, son. I want to ask you one question.
Make it short.
How long have you been sailing these waters, son?
Long enough to stay afloat, Captain Reedy.
I've been navigating this run from the Solomons and Lewis Age to Port Moresby since I was as young as you.
Yeah.
Drunk and sober through calm and gale.
Yeah, well, you only have to miss once, you know.
Just let me finish, son. I come into Messina Strait tonight the same way as I come in 100 or 200 nights before, standing the wheel myself. Now, you don't do it by chance, son. Not when you make it as many times as I have.
Come on, get to the point, Captain.
Hell, as a lighted channel boy, as long as you keep it well on your starboard, you miss this cluster of reefs. That's why it's there.
Why are you giving me this story, Captain?
Because the channel boy was on my starboard, son. Well on my starboard, like it's meant to be.
Huh?
As sure as I'm sitting here, son. Captain
Carney. Phil Carney.
Carney. My case will look better in Admiralty Court if I can prove I went aground due to accident instead of carelessness.
Yeah, I know. You think the channel boy broke loose?
That's what I think. I know it was well on my starboard where it belongs when I went aground. It'll not take you long to have a look, Captain. The boy is still there on the starboard.
Yeah, it won't take long for this tub to capsize or sink.
They'll take my command, Captain. I'll pay you for your trouble if that's what you want. I've been a seafaring man all my life, son. I know nothing else.
All right, Captain Reedy. I'll start putting your passengers aboard my ship, then I'll go take a look. You better start getting your gear ready, too, if you want to keep a deck under you.
If you find the boy out of position, I'll leave with you, Carney. If you don't, I think I'd rather stay with my ship.
You're old-fashioned, Captain. We'll talk about it later. You could feel the gentle jarring of the ship grinding on the reef now. It seemed as though the fore and aft angle was becoming steeper as the tide dropped from beneath the stern. When it went far enough, I knew the ship would tear loose from the coral and settle on its port side. Two of the passengers waited for me at the bottom of the ladder, a man, paunchy and badly used by the tropics, and a younger woman with a calm, almost indolent expression in her dark eyes. The man's expression and attitude were different.
Captain Carney, I am Frederick J. Wade, the Owen Stanley Gold Mines Limited. This is my wife.
Hello, Captain.
Yeah, how do you do?
Captain, wait. I must have a word with you.
Make it short, Mr. Wade. I'm going to start putting you passengers aboard my ship.
The very question that was in my mind, Captain. But it so happens that I am traveling with a fabulous cargo.
He doesn't mean me, Captain.
Well, that's a little surprising, Mr.
Don't
Wade.
interrupt, Frida. It so happens, Captain, that my company placed me in charge of the transport of over 3,000 ounces of gold from our mines on the island of Blood S to Port Moresby. We had the misfortune of being forced to use this miserable bottom, so I must
You
ask
must ask
to...
me to save it for you.
Yes, you will be amply repaid for its safe delivery.
I'll do what I can.
What you can, sir. Good heavens, it must be saved at
Look,
all.
I got 8 passengers and probably 20 crewmen to put aboard my ship, Wade. If there's time and room after they're taken care of, we'll load your gold.
Oh, well, then by all means, Captain, let us proceed with all the speed we can muster. I'll go to my cabin and prepare myself for the transfer.
He takes good care of me, doesn't he?
Well, don't worry, Mrs. Wade. You're surrounded by men to take care of you.
That sounds interesting. But I'm not worried. Our condition isn't as serious as you led my husband to believe, is it? Tom said we didn't have anything to worry about.
Tom?
Yes.
You mean Grierson, the chief officer?
Uh-huh. Tom to his friends.
Yeah. Well, I hope Tom's right. But in case he isn't, I think you better get your stuff ready, too.
It would be quite a feather in your cap to salvage as much gold as we have aboard, wouldn't it, Captain? To say nothing of the money it would put in your pocket.
You think I'm scaring you off this hook just so I can earn a salvage fee, you better find a life jacket. We'll pick you out of the water when you find out I'm not kidding. The rain had lightened by the time I got out on deck. The clouds above were beginning to thin and silver some from the moonlight above them. Grierson stood by the ladder waiting for me.
Well, did you get him sobered up, Captain
Oh,
Carney?
yeah, Grierson. He was making headway when I left. I want you to start putting your passengers aboard the Queen. I'll be back before you finish with it.
Where you going?
My chief mate and I are going to take our small boat and row up and take a look at that channel light.
What the devil are you going to do that for?
Well, maybe your skipper wasn't as drunk as you thought he was. He seems to think that boy broke loose and is out of position.
He's crazy. And you must be too to go along with that. He was just drunk, that's all.
It won't take long to find out, Grierson. If it's true the boy broke loose, he won't lose his master's ticket. So at his age, I guess he deserves somebody looking into it, huh?
It's your time, Carney. Go ahead and waste it.
Thanks. I like to see an officer support his captain the way you do. Go on, get started with the passengers. Gallagher! Yes, skipper! Get Nielsen set to receive passengers! You put the small boat over the side! We're going for a short trip! In 20 minutes, Red and I had pulled 100 or so yards of the lighted channel buoy, picking our way through the reef points by the phosphorescence swirling in the currents around them. We shipped our oars. Red held us steady at the light while I threw a painter around it. It made us fast.
Yeah. It broke loose, all right. If you kept this on your
Hand me the
starboard,
boat hook, Red. I want to raise this cable if I can.
Yeah, coming up.
Yeah, thanks. Red.
What do you got, Skipper?
That drunken captain didn't know how right he was.
Why, what do you got?
It didn't break loose, Red. Somebody moved this boy. The metal cable usually used to anchor buoys had been cut, and a heavy manila line bent on in its place. That meant that the Lawson had been deliberately sent aground. And with $100,000 worth of gold aboard her, it wasn't hard to figure why. checked on the board. Oh, Grayson, I'm glad you're here, too.
I'm trying to get the old man out of
Well,
here.
it's all right for you to go, Captain Reedy. The light had been moved, all right.
It what?
I told you, son. I told you something was wrong.
How do you know it was moved, Carney?
The buoy had been cut loose from its cable and re-anchored in its new position with a heavy piece of manila line.
Oh, hold back, son. You mean it was done on purpose?
Yeah. And if you weren't drowned in that liquor, you'd know why. It was done by someone who knew you had that gold aboard and knew where you were taking it. Who'd know all that?
By the devil, son.
You would, Captain. You would, Grierson.
What are you talking about?
Frederick J. Wade would, so would his wife, Frida. How about it, Grierson?
Are you accusing me, Carney?
I'm asking you, why did you tell Frida that you had nothing to worry about?
Boy, I just didn't
Were you
want to...
expecting another ship and another crew to board you?
I just told her that so she wouldn't worry and go all to pieces.
Maybe you and she are working together.
Oh, wait a minute,
Grayson,
Carney.
this is hard to believe.
You were making wild guesses. Why suspect me? Why not the old man here?
He's the one who sent me to check the boy, remember? Oh, never mind. Wade has offered to pay me for salvaging that gold. I'm taking him up on it. I suppose I'll see both of you later.
Captain Carney, are we in danger?
Wade.
I saw you rush up to the bridge deck. I've been waiting for you.
I thought you'd be aboard the Queen with the rest of the passengers.
Oh, Frida and I stayed here. I wanted to be sure you'd move my gold aboard your ship. And Frida, I suppose, wanted to be near that scoundrel Grierson. Well, that's her affair, not mine.
Where is Frida, Wade?
Heaven knows. With him, I suppose. Why?
Wade, this ship being aground is no accident.
There's no accident. Who did it?
Somebody aboard was in on it. I figured that another ship's supposed to arrive to take your gold off.
Good heavens. Oh, but surely...
You said yourself she was paired off with Grierson. It would be a good enough haul for anybody.
Oh, no. Oh, but, Captain, you are going to salvage my gold.
Well, like I told you, I'll do what I can. Look, you can help.
Oh, anything you say, Captain, and I can assure you, you'll be generously rewarded by my company upon the successful completion of the operation.
All right, Wade, where is your gold?
Locked in 2 strong boxes in the purser's office, to all of which I have the key.
Give me to one of the office. Then get aboard the Queen and tell Mr. Gallagher to douse all lights and get ready to receive your boxes. I'll get some steam into these winches and send them down to you.
As you say, Captain, right away.
I watched his portly figure disappear through the passageway. Then I started to work. If there was another ship in on the deal, I figured that the bad visibility had slowed her up. The sky was clearing now. I decided to give them as little help in finding us as I could. I found the master light panel. I killed all the deck lights first. Then I started on the main house. Just as I was reaching for the switches to darken the saloon, I heard a step scuff the deck behind me. I pulled the switches, threw myself prone before I even looked. First shot screamed off the bulkhead just above me. When the flash died, I rolled into a new position. Second one missed me by a more comfortable margin. Then I heard steps fading aft down the companionway. I got to my feet, made what speed I could through the pitch darkness after them. I heard a door slam just ahead of me and to my right. I groped for it. Found it. Went in.
Tom?
Got the gun, Frida.
Who is it? I can't see.
Got the gun?
I haven't got a gun.
What?
I haven't got a gun. I didn't have one.
Then who threw the shots?
Don't know. Oh, it's you, Captain Carney.
Yeah, who threw the
I
shots?
don't know. How should I know? What's happening, Captain?
Why don't you drop the act, Frida? Is your boy Grierson gunning for me?
Tom? Why should he?
Maybe because I'm taking the gold off and messing up his chances of you two doing a fast disappearing act with it.
Captain Carney, what are you saying?
Oh, look, you weren't kidding anybody, especially your husband.
I never tried to kid anybody. Frederick knew I was going to divorce him and marry Tom. But the gold...
Somebody arranged things so that this ship would go aground. The best motive is the gold.
Oh, no, he couldn't have. He couldn't have done that.
Then what?
Oh, he was so determined to get a ship command, and he hated Captain Reedy. But he wouldn't have done this to get one.
For my dough, I wish that was behind it. Look, if you don't want to slide off into 30 fathoms when this hulk lets go of that reef, you better get over the side onto the Queen.
Not without Tom. Where is he?
I'd feel safer if I knew, gorgeous, but I don't. Come on.
No,
Get out on the deck.
Let go of me. Let go of me.
I ought to, but I took on a rescue
I won't
job
go
and you're
without
part of
Tom.
it.
I won't go.
You won't have to, Frida.
Tom, darling, where are you?
Don't try to find me, honey. Step away from me and get away from Carney. I don't want to hit you.
All right, darling.
It's time you and I settled this, Carney.
There's not too much time. This hulk is slipping.
I heard what you told Frida, and I've taken enough of your meddling. As far as I can see, you haven't got anything on anybody aboard this ship. I'm stealing a man's wife, but that's no crime in any law book.
You're so clean, why don't you save your story for the lawyers, Grierson?
Because I want you squared away before I leave here. I'm not going on the block for this wreck. You keep forgetting that I'm the guy who ordered that distress message sent out. The lawyers are going to like that, aren't they?
It's a good thing you did. Maybe with that bad visibility, the other ship couldn't find... Wait!
Wait a minute, Grayson. Don't try anything, Carney. I warn you. If you do, this gun goes wrong. Wait a minute. Skipper, where are you? Don't answer, Carney.
I didn't have to. I saw the beam from a powerful flash streak into the dark companionway. I kept my back to it. When I saw it hit Grayson's face, saw his eyes wince from the sudden light, I moved in on him. Give me the gun.
Hey, Skipper, this trunk of rust is...
Come here, Red. Get a hold of this guy, will you?
What the devil's going on?
Keep Grayson off of me. I got to talk to him. Now, calm down, Grayson.
You and I both have been suckered in this deal. It was a good case against you. I don't blame you for blowing your top, but you can quit worrying. You're as clear as deep water.
You're just over-suspicious, Carney. I told you didn't have anything on anybody on this ship. If somebody reckoned to get that gold, they're from someplace else. The visibility just kept them from getting
That's
here.
where you're wrong, Grayson. There is somebody on this ship. And if he'd been a little soberer, he'd have found me with one of those slugs back in the saloon.
The old man?
Yeah, Captain Reedy. He wanted the ship to go aground so he could split that gold with somebody. With the boy moved, he wouldn't be blamed for it.
Huh? You got barnacles on the brain, Skipper. Reedy was the guy that sent us out to check on the position of that boy.
Yeah, and that's where he made his mistake. He gave me that story about taking a sight on that boy. He was still trying to lift the blame from himself. But listen, with the zero visibility in that rainstorm, he couldn't have even seen that light, much less kept it on his starboard. Well, what are you waiting for? You haven't got much time. Come on, Gallagher. Get those two aboard the Queen. I'll go take care of the gold. We slung the two strong boxes over the side and onto the decks of the Scarlet Queen with as much speed as we could get out of the rusty winches and the dying steam. The tide was still dropping, and the decks of the Lawson were beginning to angle to port as well as steeply down by the stern. I headed for the chart room for the last time.
Get away from that door.
Come on, open up, Reedy. Time to go.
I said get away from that door.
Come on, you rumhead. Look, what's a prison term to a worn-out old sea dog like you? They'll feed you better than you ate on this scow.
Get away. Get away. The other ship will come for me.
They'll never make it, Reedy.
They were here yesterday.
Come on, Reedy, I'll give you a hand.
Get away or I'll bring you again.
She's going, Reedy. Look, I haven't got time to argue. I'll ask you once more. Come on, sweat it out for a few years.
Get away.
Okay, you old pirate. Okay, old pirate.
Get off of my ship. I'll sail into Port Moresby myself, you deserting rat.
Red and I stood on the deck of the Queen, 50 yards off the reef, and watched. The tide had dropped so far that only the after half of the Lawson was in the water. The swells lifted it, twisted it, and dropped it, a little lower each time. Finally, it couldn't hang on the reef any longer. It twisted a little more to port, enough to let the water rush into its after holds. The moon broke through the clouds for an instant. I saw the figure of Captain Reedy on the bridge deck, from where he'd commanded his ship for so many years. He stood there, pushing his weight against the list of his ship, looking out over the bow. "30 seconds later, the Lawson was out of sight. There's nothing I like about a guy who'd murder his own ship. I don't know what made me hate to see him go that way.
That crazy old sea dog.
I did everything I could to get him off, Fred.
Sure you did, Skipper. Come on, we better get some cloth up and get out of here.
Hmm? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I've seen enough of this reef. The morning broke fair and brisk, and that afternoon we found our berth at Port Moresby. We put off our passengers and Frederick Wade's gold. The generous payment we received wasn't quite as generous as his build-up had been, but split among the crew, it was enough for everyone to send a few trinkets back to the States. 2 days after that, we discharged our cargo and taken on another. Coffee and rubber for the warehouses of Darwin. We stood out of the harbor under power, found the wind, and put our figurehead onto a course up through Torres Strait and out of Pura Sea. The crew, eager for an Australian port where girls on the streets spoke their language and the girls in the bars spoke the same, jumped to their stations with a will. The throat and peak halyards heaved the big mainsail into its working position. The jibs went up. Then the mizzen. And we trimmed them for a close reach under the steady breeze.
Well, I guess we'll get there with this rig, huh, Skipper?
Yeah, I think we might. If nobody moves a channel buoy on us.
Well, not having anything more valuable in our holds than a few thousand pounds of raw coffee and raw rubber, I guess there's no danger of that.
Or passengers, Red. Passengers will cause trouble when a cargo won't.
That Dame Frida, for example.
Oh, yeah. If she'd had a different type husband, the fur would have been flying.
I don't know. With a wife like that, why should he be so interested in gold?
Search me. But that Grierson brought up an interesting point.
Huh?
Stealing a man's gold is a crime, but stealing his wife isn't. How do you like that?
Well, let somebody else worry about it. The saints be praised, we aren't bothered by either.
Oh, I don't know. We aren't exactly unattached.
No, but she'll never leave with another first mate while I'm alive. To the Queen, Skipper?
To the Scarlet Queen. After you, mate. After you. Log entry. The Ketch Scarlet Queen. 5:30 p.m. Wind fresh, sky fair. Sea calm with long cross swell. Ship secure tonight. Signed, Philip Carney, Master.
Mutual invites you to sail into further adventure on the Voyage of the Scarlet Queen next week at the same time. Port o' call, Darwin. The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen stars Elliot Lewis as Phil Carney with Ed Max as Gallagher, and tonight featured Ira Grossell as Captain Reedy. Clark Gordon played Grierson, John Daner was Wade, and Frida was Maya Gregory. Music scored and conducted by Richard Orant. The Scarlet Queen, a Command Radio production, is written by Gil Dowd and Bob Tallman.
The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service. Log entry, the Ketch Scarlet Queen, Philip Carney, Master. Position, 12 degrees, 12 minutes south, 130 degrees, 4 minutes west. Wind fresh, sky fair. Remarks, cleared Darwin, Australia after altercation in Bannock Hotel. Reason for incident, the Fang Rubies and the Black Siamese. We'd been moored between two trading schooners at a dock in Darwin for 3 days, unloading the stuff we'd brought in from Port Moresby and taking on a cargo for Singapore. My chief mate Gallagher and my crew were in town, spending a few well-earned hours of shore leave. I was alone on the forward deck. I'd been watching the busy lighters wallowing between the shore and the merchantmen that were anchored in the stream. Then I started toward the cabin. I got to the shoreward rail in time to see a man hurrying along the dock. He was carrying a black cat in his arms. He looked back over his shoulder at the schooner on our stern. Then, just before he reached our gangway, tossed the cat aboard. It landed lightly on its feet about 2 yards from me. As bad as the act was, the guy carried it through.
Seaver! Here, Seaver! Come here! Oh, my Siamese seems to have jumped aboard your ship. I come aboard after him.
I saw how he came aboard. I'll toss him back to you.
I'm sorry, but I have to come aboard after him.
He started to cross the gangway. The second shot caught him and slammed him into the guardrail. He careened off of it and hit the deck in front of me. By instinct, I headed for cover and waited for more shots. I didn't think. After a few seconds, I moved over to him.
Can you hide me?
Sure, I'll hide you.
Don't let my sister know. Until I feel better.
Yeah, all right.
Until
I looked back at the schooner. Her crew had cut her mooring. She was moving away from the dock. And I was left with a dead man and a black Siamese that looked up at me with motionless yellow eyes.
And so Mutual continues The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen, written by Gil Dowd and Bob Tallman, and starring Elliott Lewis. The Scarlet Queen, proudest ship to plow the seas, bound for uncharted adventure. Every week a complete entry in the log, and every week a league further in The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen.
Inspector Tompkins, Criminal Investigation Department. Captain Carney?
Oh, yeah.
We're much obliged to you for notifying us of this incident.
That's all right.
We were obliged that you didn't give him the heave-ho into the water, which is becoming a habit in this part of the city. Well. Ah, so you've been shot, have you, Chappie? You're a bit of a mess, aren't you, Chappie?
I haven't touched him except to put the sailcloth over him.
Well, now, let's, you've got a pocketbook, eh? Well, we'll have a look at that. Harold Scott, Blakely Square, Canberra. That's better. Ashenden?
Yes, sir.
Cart him off, Ashenden.
Yes, sir.
Now, Captain, suppose you give me your version of the incident in chronological order.
I don't have much of a version, Inspector. He came along the dock from the stern of my ship carrying a black Siamese. He tossed the cat aboard, then pretended it had jumped, and that he was chasing it. And that's the cat. He's been sitting there ever since.
Ah, that's an odd one.
The guy got halfway across the gangway. Somebody on the schooner got him with a rifle.
Tell me, what was the name, registry, description of said schooner, and in what direction did she proceed?
What? Well, I don't know her name or registry. She's gaff-rigged, painted gray above the waterline, between 50 and 60 feet overall. She hugged the shore after she left here. I lost her behind the warehouse there in the point.
Well, the CID is obliged to you, Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, since you're an eyewitness to the crime, you will remain in Darwin and keep the department notified.
No, not a chance, Inspector. I got a time contract on this cargo we're doing Singapore.
Then I shall have to station CID guards upon your ship to prevent you sailing.
Why don't you take your CID guard?
I'll have the guards here in a jiffy, Captain.
Hey!
Eh?
The cat! The least you can do is take him.
A gift to you, Captain, from the department.
Thanks! I went into the cabin, put a bottle and glass on my desk, and between a couple of drinks, entered the incident in the log. When I stood up and turned around, the cat was just inside the passageway. He followed me in, and he sat there looking at my face. The devil you want? Can't you do anything but sit there and stare? Ooh, you're in a lot of company, you are. Hey, get off of that bunk. Who do you think you are, anyway? Come on, get off. And stay there. He tossed me a quick look after I pushed him to the deck, twisted around, and with his tongue washed the place where I touched him. Then he jumped back on the bunk. After 3 more tries, I gave up, and he went to sleep on my pillow. After a few more drinks, I gave up again. The CID men had arrived to guard the Queen, and everything aboard was secure, so I packed some personal gear for shore. Flipped a coin to decide whether I'd take the cat or leave him. Tails, so I picked him up and went ashore. I finally found a safe-looking pet shop that would board the cat. And with Siva in tender hands, I rode a bus to the middle of town. I located a room at the Queensland House, checked in, and after reporting my address to the CID, had dinner and went to my room. I stretched out on the first double bed I'd seen in months. I must have dozed off, because it took me a while to realize that the sound I heard was a knock on my door. Yeah. Who is it? Yeah, all right, wait a minute. Yeah, what? Hello.
Are you Philip Carney?
That's right.
I've been to the police. They told me where you were. I'm Paula Scott. Harold Scott was my brother.
Oh. Well, you want to come in?
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry about your brother.
Thank you. You were with him, weren't you?
Well, for a few minutes. Well, I don't think it was bad. The way he went, I mean, things like that just sound as though they're awful rough.
You're telling the truth, aren't you?
Yes, I am. If it helps any, and I don't suppose it does, he didn't even know he was going. He just stopped talking.
What was he talking about?
About getting well.
Oh. I'm glad to know that.
Yeah.
What else did he say? See, I've got to know. It isn't one of those masochistic things. I've just got to know.
Why don't you sit down?
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, there's no place for you.
Oh, yeah, it's a one-chair room. I'll use the bed. Well, there wasn't much said because there wasn't much time. He wanted me to hide him, and he didn't want me to let you know until he got better, that was all.
The police told me you have Siva.
The cat? Yeah, I put him in a pet shop where he'll get good care, I think.
Mr. Carney, I want to talk to you. I know why Harold was killed, and I know who killed him.
Did you tell the police?
No.
Why not?
Because I want to stay alive. There are two of them. If the police go to one, the other will come after me.
You want to tell me?
Yes, his name is Hugo Cashin. He's my uncle, and he has a horrible little creature with him, Merrill Ferris. Have you ever heard of the Cashin interest?
Well, harbors and anchorages are the only things I know about in Australia.
They were built by Leland Cashin. Mining, sheep, contracting, shipping, everything else that makes money, I guess.
Leland, he's your uncle, too.
He was. He was killed in a motor accident near Canberra 2 weeks ago, leaving Harold and me the entire estate. Hugo Cashin is alive. When we die, it goes to him. But he has only one left to outlive now.
Look, I don't like despairing women. Do you want me to try and help you?
That isn't why
Never mind why you came. If you want me to help you, act normal. Cry, pull your hair, get drunk, do something. Don't sit there looking as patient as one of your estate sheep.
Yes, I'm sorry. I want you to help me.
All right. Somebody should have taught you to cry when you were young. You'd feel better.
I can't help it.
Sure. You learned early not to let your feelings show. You want anything to eat?
No,
Well, go on in and wash your face and comb your hair. I'll have dinner sent up. I figured it would take a lifetime to make her unbend and get rid of some of that reserve and some of that self-control that was tying her up in knots inside. Well, a few drinks before she ate and a few more afterward made a good start.
Captain Carney, how did you know so much about me so soon after you met me?
Well, you're a pretty obvious little girl.
Oh, dear, I am not. How did you? You're quite right, you know.
Well, you carry a very active kind of magic around with you. You're afraid of it and the reaction it has on guys like me, so you've developed a fine, icy attitude to hide that rare emotion.
Oh, you make me sound, well...
Conceited?
I'm not, really. I wonder what it is. I'm certainly not beautiful. Nobody's ever told me I'm beautiful and really meant it just like that.
Well, just be patient. You'll get old and crotchety someday, and you won't have a thing to worry about.
Oh, a little while ago, I didn't think I'd get much older. You know something? I haven't felt this way for... Seems like forever. I mean, of course, about not being afraid of Hugo and Merrill.
Yeah.
I suppose it's because I don't feel quite so alone now.
Well, that's good. Tell me, do Hugo and Merle keep you shadowed? Would they check the hotel register?
I'm sure they would.
Well, then they know you're here.
But how? No.
Because I took a room for you in your name when I ordered dinner. It's down the other end of the hall.
Oh, Captain, I
wait a
can't
minute,
stay.
wait a minute. I'm going to stay in that room. You're going to stay here. I changed the registration of this room, too. It's under the name of a very dear friend of mine on the police force, Inspector Tompkins.
Oh, but they'll come to that room. I know they will.
Well, that seems to be the best way to contact.
But I really...
Here's the key to this room. Leave the key in after you've locked the door. Jam one of your hairpins in with it.
Yes. It's all right, Captain.
Swell.
You going to go now?
Well, yeah, it's getting late.
I see. I don't think I want you to go.
Well, I've got to. You'll be all right.
Wait.
What for?
I just want...
Now, look. If I don't have some news for you tonight, I'll see you in the morning. Keep your door locked.
Yes, all right.
Good night.
Good night, Captain.
When I got in the room, registered to Paula Scott, I locked the door, leaving the key in. And I did what I could to make the room look lived in to anyone cracking the door slowly to come in. It was 11:30 when I turned out the lights and settled down to wait. The building was quiet, but the restless throb of the city came through. Now and then a deep-throated call from the harbor. I'd looked at my watch at 1:15 a.m., and it couldn't have been 10 minutes later that I caught a sound so faint that I felt it rather than heard it. Then I waited for the key to be pushed out of the lock. There was a long silence before I heard the lock click. And another before the door started to swing silently open. A slim, bare arm came in first, shadowy in the faint light from the hall. A slight figure followed. Then I caught the flicker of a knife blade. I moved just before he got all the way. All right, tap the shiver. This elbow bends backward for the rest of your life. What's your elbow?
Lay out!
Not yet. Move back to the door. This way. I want some light on you.
You're breaking it.
I might at that. You're an ugly little guy. What are you carrying besides that knife? You go well heeled, don't you? 25 caliber. You must be a marksman, huh? Playing with that small caliber? That service automatic. That one I'll keep. Any more?
I go. That's all.
Now get your leg up. That's for lying to me. Give me the leg again. Throwing knife. You do that too, huh? You're a regular blasted artillery battalion, aren't you? Any more?
Ain't any more. Lay go now.
All right, as soon as I get you safe in that corner.
No, lay off.
No.
Now, stay there. Don't worry. I'm not getting up.
Just a punk kid, aren't you? How old are you?
Old enough to get stupid.
You sound like stateside.
Tell him when you see him to cancel the time I got coming, I'll go back.
You're Merle Ferris, huh? What'd you come up here for? Let Ferris talk or I'll start sea-booting you around this room until you do.
This goddamn, that cat.
What makes you think she's got the cat?
Somebody's got it. She's got the rest of the stuff they took in with her brother's body.
I got the cat.
You'd have money in the bank if you did.
Huh? What makes the cat so hot?
What's the difference? If you got it, Cashin will give you enough for it so you can hire guys like me for you to knock around.
That sounds good. Come on, get up. Where is Cashin?
A hotel, 4 or 5 blocks down. Hey, I'll get me my stuff back. You and me will get along all right now.
You go like you are, and I'll keep the 45. Then I know we'll get along. Will Cashin's door be locked?
If you ain't standing in it, it will be.
Then I'll do the knocking.
What's the matter? You jumpy?
Just careful.
You think we got knocking signals like schoolboys? You read too much. Yeah, this is it.
All right, over this way.
Who is it?
That's room. You're alone.
It's me, Mr. Cashin.
All right, get over here in front of me. Move in first.
Here, move. What's this, huh? If you don't like it, run your own errands from now on.
Now, both of you stay in the middle of the room.
Perhaps if I understood, young man. You got the cat.
Scott gave it to him. So, Paula didn't get it. Well, young man, you and I must reach an agreement at once. I will pay you fabulously for the black Siamese.
I'll have to know why you want him before I sell.
Certainly. With that cat in my possession, young man, I will prove that Paula Scott is guilty of murdering my brother, Leland Cushion.
Are you nuts?
That cat's a valuable bit of evidence. With him and with him only, we can prove that Leland was killed, not in a motor accident, as is believed, but cold-bloodedly in his home by that girl and the deceased brother, see?
And the cat will clear everything up, huh?
The cat, together with a certain document which Leland was carrying at the time he was killed, see?
Where is the certain document?
Well, Paula has it hidden. But with the cat in our possession, we'll rout it out, and her with it.
Yeah, okay. I'll make a deal with you. I'll be back here with the cat in an hour and a half. My first stop was the pet shop where I'd parked Seela. I banged on the door until I aroused the sleepy owner, apologized the same, and retrieved the black Siamese. Then I headed for the Queensland house.
Paula, it's Phil.
Just a minute. I'll be right there. Captain, nothing wrong? And Siva.
Yeah, here's the cat.
I didn't know you were going to bring him here.
Why did you lie to me, Paula?
I didn't mean...
Was it all an act?
Oh, you can't mean that.
What's the real story about your uncle's death?
I see. You've seen Hugo Cashin.
That's it.
You see, I didn't know what to tell you. What if it was murder? What good would it do to have it all stirred up again?
Depends on who did the murdering.
What do you mean?
Who killed him, Paula?
Why, Hugo Cashin and Mel Ferris. Oh, it really hurts me to tell you this. My brother was involved, yes. He didn't do the actual killing. But after it was over, he was the one who pushed the car and the body off of Canberra Hills. He found some evidence in Uncle Leland's breast pocket that would prove murder, no matter how hard they tried to hide it.
I want to see that evidence. Cashin told me it would prove that you and your brother committed the murder.
He's lying.
All right, what's the evidence?
Part of it is the cat. The other part is in my handbag.
Yeah?
Here it is. Here, it's the pedigree Uncle Leland was carrying in his pocket. And see? The bullet hole?
The piece of folded paper she handed me would have fit tightly into a legal-sized envelope. The bullet hole was roughly in the middle. The angular pedigree lines trace Siva's family back to an ancestor living early in the 1700s. At the top, there were 4 photographs of Siva. One of them showed him with his mouth open in a yawn. You could see 2 tiny dark stones that were set, one in each of his upper fangs. She put the cat in her lap and opened his mouth.
There. You see? There are the fang rubies that show up in the photograph.
Oh, yeah.
It's the mark of the Pasha line of Siamese. Since Siva's the only one outside of the Asiatic continent, this pedigree chart can't belong to anyone but him.
Well, it doesn't prove much yet. Could have been my cat.
No, it couldn't. Couldn't belong to anyone in the world but Uncle Leland. He was a member of the International Cat Fanciers Club. Their system of identification is legally recognized everywhere. Look here. Here on Siva's left thigh, right here. You part the fur, you can see a mark on the skin.
Oh, yeah, a tattoo.
Yes, done when he was a kitten. To identify him as Leland Cashin's in any court in the world.
I guess that's good evidence, but I don't get this. How does it prove murder?
Don't you see? The tattoo proves that Siva belonged to Uncle Leland. These pictures prove that the pedigree is Siva's. Therefore, the bullet hole in the pedigree papers prove that Uncle Leland was shot and not killed in a motor accident.
Now I got it.
I've kept the pedigree. My brother was hiding Siva aboard a ship in the harbor. I suppose Hugo found out he was there. My brother was trying to escape onto your ship when they shot him.
You better get dressed, Paula.
Where are we going, Captain?
Get these 2 stories together.
You don't know whether to believe me or not, do you?
Your cat and your rubies and charts still haven't proved anything but murder. They haven't proved who did the murder.
Yes, I know. What can I do, Captain?
You can call the police. Call them and tell them to meet us in room 12, Bonnock Hotel, in 45 minutes. I'll go find a car we can hire and meet you downstairs. A few minutes later, Paula, Siva, and I were riding to the Bonnock Hotel in silence. She took the cat when we got there, and I pushed her behind me as we climbed the stairs. When I motioned her to a stop at the door. I wasn't quite sure what I'd do inside if she were guilty. It was 35 minutes after she had or had not called the police that I rapped on the door of Hugo Cashin's room.
Who is it?
Carney!
Come in, Captain. He's brought the Scott dame.
Paula! Go back in the room. Merle, get over in the corner. Stay there.
Don't worry about me, tough guy.
Captain, I'm disappointed in you.
Why?
This was to be an arrangement strictly between us. If I'd known that you were as untrustworthy as to bring forward to interfere
I'm
with...
not interfering, Hugo.
Look, Cashin, we've got the cat here. That's what you wanted. I've heard the same story from both you and Miss Scott. It was good both times.
What has this girl been saying?
I told her to call the police and tell them to meet us here. I don't know whether she did or not. What do you think, Cashin?
She'd be a fool to.
If she's guilty, I guess you're right. Here, Cashin, you can have the same deal. If she didn't call them, you'd just as soon, wouldn't you?
Your call, please.
Well, Cashin?
Your call, please.
Cashin, you're not going to let him call the cops.
Why not? They can prove nothing.
Your call, please.
Give me the police.
They can prove nothing.
With my record, I'm not sitting in no jail cell while they sweat the truth out of you.
All right, get the cat and come on.
No, stay away.
Cashin!
Phil, he's taking Siva. He'll kill him.
Oh, you there! Stop! Fire action done. Stop those men!
Oh, Captain Carney.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Oh, Captain. There you are.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be hereabouts when I saw those blighters making off with your cat. They wouldn't stop. I had to wing them.
Yes.
But the cat is unharmed now. Here you are, with the respects of the CID.
Well, thanks, Inspector.
Did the scoundrels try to steal anything else, Captain?
Look, Inspector, this wasn't a robbery. The men you nailed committed that murder on my ship yesterday.
Oh, well, the department is Johnny on the spot, you might say. The summons we got was from some poor ladies sobbing into the telephone.
What?
Well, cheerio.
Yeah, see? Paula, that was you? Wasting some of that rare emotion on a telephone?
Of course not, Captain. Captain, the inspector must have been mistaken. It just must have been a bad connection.
No, come on now. Now you're overdoing it. There. No, it'll be all right.
I'm sorry.
No, you're a big girl with an estate now. Everything's making money for you.
No, I don't care about the money. It's you. If you could manage to stay.
I can't stay, gorgeous. I got a cargo aboard on a time contract. I gotta get it to Singapore. Hey, here's your cat.
Yes, of course, thank you. Yes, I understand. You have a commitment. And you'd rather go on your ship than stay?
No, it's nothing. It's nothing personal, Paula. And I'll make you a promise. If I ever settle down on an estate in Australia, it'll be yours. 2 hours later, using the first faint light and the first fresh breeze of dawn, we stood out into the harbor.
Stand by to make sail!
It was a crew of city-numb sailors that stumbled to their stations and groped for the halyards. It was hard to tell what was in their eyes outside of exhaustion as they watched the city lights sink astern.
Make sail!
The mainsail shook itself and tightened as it was hauled aloft. The jibs went out. Then the mizzen. And the Scarlet Queen coasted into the morning with the foam at her starboard rail shining whitely in the first reflection of the sun from the sky.
Reporting to the bridge. Sir, is everything to your liking? Aloft and below?
What's gotten into you, Red? You spend your time reading sea stories or something in Darwin?
No, just feeling fit and hearty, Skipper. Glad to be aboard. I ran head-on into a situation.
A woman, Red?
Yeah. Oh, a lot of good home cooking and stuff, but she wanted me to settle down and share a property.
An estate, Red?
Yeah, a little truck farm. Yeah, well, I guess it might not be bad for a while. Evenings on the veranda and all that.
Did she have a cat, Red?
Yeah, a little white alley cat.
And she thought you were crazy for leaving, and you told her it was nothing personal, huh?
Yeah, how'd you know all that?
Women, Red. They're never happy till they got a guy lashed down someplace.
Yeah, imagine spending all your life walking on a floor that never rolls or pitches, huh? Ah, Skipper, I guess we got the right kind of woman. Wooden and lively. Here, Skipper, to the Queen, to the Scarlet Queen. After you, mate. After you.
Log entry. The Ketch Scarlet Queen. 5:30 p.m. Wind fresh. Sky fair. Sea calm with long cross swell. Ship secure for night. Signed, Philip Carney, Master.
Mutual invites you to sail into further adventure on the Voyage of the Scarlet Queen next week at the same time.
Log entry, the Ketch Scarlet Queen, Philip Carney, Master. Position, 3 degrees 14 minutes north, 102 degrees 7 minutes east. Wind brisk, sky hazy. Remarks, cleared Singapore Harbor 9 a.m. after involvement in international crime. Reason for involvement, the ambitious hostess on South Bridge Road. We laid over almost a week in Singapore. First couple of days discharging cargo, and the next waiting to load some machinery bound for a rubber estate outside of Penang, up the Malay Peninsula. But Singapore, the big jumbled port city, serves up good shore leaves. So there were no complaints about the delay from either my chief mate Gallagher or the crew. Tuesday night was as heavy and as hot and as humid as all the others had been. Gallagher was spending his third night ashore. I was sprawled in a canvas chair on the afterdeck of the Scarlet Queen, listening to the chatter from the Oriental craft that slipped by our side in the darkness.
Mr. Captain! Mr. Captain!
The hail came from behind me on the dock. A young Chinese boy stood at the head of the gangway.
You, Mr. Captain, all right?
Yeah, what do you want?
I bring paper from Mr. Gallagher.
Oh, you mean a note?
All the same paper I have here.
All right, come on aboard.
All the same paper?
Yeah, paper. Thanks. The note from Gallagher was in a hasty scrawl. Skipper, it said. I'm in room 204 at the Continental. I'm in big trouble. Bring 45s. Red.
And so Mutual continues The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen, written by Gil Dowd and Bob Tallman, and starring Elliott Lewis. The Scarlet Queen, proudest ship to plow the seas, bound for uncharted adventure. Every week a complete entry in the log, and every week a league further in the Voyage of the Scarlet Queen.
Red? Red's me. Gallagher. Red? That's his coat.
Clark speaking.
I'm in room 204. I was supposed to meet Mr. Gallagher, but he isn't here. Did he leave any message down there about where he was going?
Mr. Gallagher? Well, I was on duty when they took him out.
Who took him out?
The two gentlemen, sir. It seemed that Mr. Gallagher had been injured, and I believe they was taking him to an hospital.
Where?
Didn't mention what one.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Quite all right.
I opened the closet again. Went through his coat. All I found was a crumpled note that said, "Meet you for dinner." It was signed Cy. 4 words and 2 letters of a name when I needed a book. But it was all I could dig out, so I shoved it in my pocket. Went down to the bar on the main floor.
Good evening, sir. What do you like?
Some of the American will do, I guess. Straight.
Very good, sir. Very good drink, all right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
No,
sir.
wait a minute. I'm looking for a friend of mine, a big red-headed guy. Been staying in the hotel for 3 days.
Big. Oh, this store, maybe?
Yeah, you know him?
Oh, yes. He coming here all the time. But he not here now.
Yeah, I know that. Wait a minute.
What?
Did he ever have anybody with him when he came in here? A friend? Somebody named Cy?
Friend, he come with his seller, too.
Yeah?
He from American ship. I hear them talk about store in America.
What ship was he from?
Freighter. You know Steel Traveler?
Steel Traveler?
I think all right.
Thanks, Charlie. Here.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll see you later. I called the port captain.
Yes, the American steamship Steel Traveler arrived from Hong Kong yesterday.
Where's she tied up?
At the Southwest Rubber Company's docks. Now, that would be Pier.
They were working cargo when I got there. Big bales of rubber were swinging from the dock and disappearing into the big holds of the ship. A pint-sized tow-headed gangway watch looked up from a pulp magazine when I came aboard.
How are you?
Mate, you know a crewman aboard here named Cy?
Cy Adler? Yeah, why?
I'm looking for him.
Cy's dead.
What?
Yeah, they found him in an alley ashore this morning. He'd been knifed. You know how Singapore is sometimes.
Yeah. How about his gear? Is it still aboard?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd like to look it over, see if I can dig up something to start from. I want to find my chief mate. He was with Cy ashore. Now I can't find him.
No, I guess you better not.
Oh, look, you can frisk me when I leave. I don't want anything. Here's 10 American.
Well, all right, go ahead. His quarters are down the ladder just inside. There's a second one to starboard. Check with me on the way out.
Yeah,
huh?
okay, mate. Thanks. Cy Adler's quarters didn't offer much more than Red's hotel room had. I went through his locker and wondered if he'd always been so careless. It was unlocked, and on the top shelf in a cigar box there was a stack of crisp, new U.S. $50 bills that would have tempted his best friend. Stuck to the inside of the locker door, there was a picture of a girl signed, "With all my love, Gina." In the photograph, she looked beautiful enough to give the words meaning. From her high cheekbones, the shape of her eyes and mouth, the style of her dark hair, I tagged her for Eurasian. In a shirt pocket, I found 2 bar checks with Cy Adler's signature on them. They told me that he was well enough known at a place called Conover's Bar on South Bridge Road to rate a charge account. That was the best lead I could find. Southbridge Road is a no-man's land between the native and Occidental sections. The establishments that line it draw the dregs from both. The Conover Bar was the bottom of the barrel. The hostess, wearing something sea green, met me inside. Her face was the only sign of progress I'd seen that night. It was the same one that had looked at me from the photograph in Cy Adler's locker. She looked better in person.
Hello?
Hello?
The bar is crowded. You do perhaps like a table?
I don't seem to care. To be truthful, I didn't even know why I came here until right now.
Oh? You can tell this quick, huh?
Uh-huh.
Always you'll be so honest with girls?
Only with the ones that react the right way.
And you think I do?
I hope so. I'll start with how I admired your picture in Cy Adler's locker.
Cy Adler? Oh, yes. I think I remember him. Did you do you know him?
Shall we find a table?
All right. Pardon us? Here. You like this one?
Yeah, fine. Have you seen Cy lately?
Oh, no. No, it is a very long time ago. Why do we talk about him?
Because I'm looking for a tall, red-headed guy who's supposed to be with him. He's my chief mate. I'm kind of worried. He disappeared out of his hotel room, and I can't locate him.
Oh, that is too bad. You lonely?
What's that got to do with it?
Maybe your friend is lonely. Maybe he don't want you to find him tonight.
Maybe that's it. So, what if I am lonely?
Who are you?
Carney, Phil Carney.
I am Gina. I like you.
Thanks.
Maybe if you still are lonely when I am through, you come with me?
When do you get through, and where do we go?
Little while. To my house. I can fix you nice drinks, and it is cool there on the river. I don't think you'll be lonely anymore.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Then you wait for me?
I'll try to make it.
I won't be long.
Okay. Her house overlooked the Singapore River. The lights of the boats below flickered like fireflies, and the silence after the din of the Conover bar was peaceful.
You sit down, Phil. I come right back.
All right, Gina. She moved through some soft reed drapes that whispered after her. When she came out, she was wearing something that wasn't sea green. And a heady scent swirled around her as she stood there smiling at me. She was a good actress, even with the dangerous lines.
You sit down now. Over here with me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, your guns, Phil. They will be uncomfortable.
You're really observing, Gina. You see a lot.
Working on South Bridge Road, that is the first thing we notice about a man. But here you can relax, Phil.
All right, Gina. I do feel better here.
I help you with your coat.
Yeah.
I hang it here. And you can put your guns on the table if you want.
Oh, that'll be fine.
You are more comfortable. I tell you it was cool here on the river. You're not lonely anymore, are you?
No, you've taken care of that very nicely.
Oh, but I tell you I will fix you nice drinks. Do you want a drink, Phil?
No, not especially.
I know you would say
You
that.
want one?
You know, too, what I will say. No, I don't want a drink, Phil. See all the lights on the river? The boats?
I'm not looking at them. I saw them.
People live out there. But who cares? Oh, Phil.
If her purpose was to keep me there, she was successful. But I would have stayed even if she'd thrown vases at me. She and her knowledge of Red's friend Cy were all I had. And she'd slipped back at the bar, I was sure of it, when she started to say, "Did you know Cy?" instead of "Do you know him?" Well, her act was good. And I tried to keep mine the same, even 15 minutes later when we heard footsteps. The door opened. She moved away from me as though she'd been burned, scooped up my .45s, and met the two men who came in.
Well done, Gina. You're a good girl.
What is this, Gina? You didn't warn me you had friends who don't knock.
It's quite informal hereabouts, Carney. We come and go.
Carney? Well, in that case, maybe I just better go.
No, you don't, Carney. Don't. Move over into the corner and keep an eye on him.
I'll watch him. Remember me, Carney, in case you start a move.
Why should I move? As a matter of fact, why should I be muscled around by you guys?
Perhaps you'd better sit down, Carney. In the chair over here.
Uh-huh.
I had hoped that you would show a bit more intelligence than Gallagher.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He doesn't know what we're talking about, Gina. Well?
He does. He went to Cy's ship and he came to Conover's looking for Gallagher just before I talked with you on the telephone.
What do you say to that, Carney?
Don't breathe in my face.
Look, Carney, if you use the intelligence you must have been blessed with, you may save both Gallagher's life and your own.
What'll we get out of it?
Oh, a suitable arrangement might be decided upon.
Don't be nuts, Middleton. He's a no spot to bargain.
Nobody says he doesn't know what we're talking about. Well, Mr. Carney?
Okay, why do you think I let your siren here rope me in? Because I'm schoolboy enough to swallow lines like she tosses, or because I knew you'd show up so we could talk? You think I can't bargain? Let's call this conference off. I'm sorry I came.
Do you know where it is, Carney?
What if I do?
If you do, we'll get it out of you.
Okay, Doan, then I'll change my mind. I don't know where it is. You like that better?
You like that better?
Don't be stupid, Doan.
We can't bargain with him.
Your methods didn't work with Gallagher.
Not yet, but we got plenty of time.
I'll tell you what you'll get out of this. If you use your head, Carney, you'll stay alive. If you don't, you'll land in an alley like Cy Adler did. And you know something? I got one picked out for you.
You're a great bluffer, Doan.
That stuff hidden, Carney.
No, don't. Not anymore.
What's the matter with you?
Don't do any more here. You don't get my house dirty.
Thanks, Gina. If I tell anybody where the stuff is, it'll be you.
Okay, Carney. Let's go. Let's go peaceful.
I came back far enough a couple of times to realize I'd been tossed into the back seat of a car. A car that was going someplace. The third time I was out of the car and on a wooden floor, someplace where I could hear the harbor. When my eyes had been open long enough, I made out the crack of light around the door. Then I got to my feet. Stumbled over a body. Red! Red, come on. Come on, Gallagher, come on. It's me, Red. I'm a little late, but I finally got here. Who? It's me, Red. Come on, snap out of it.
Skipper.
Yeah, Skipper.
Oh, that Doan.
Yeah, Red, I know. Come on, let's try to make sense, shall we?
Skipper, how in the devil you get here?
You sent me a note, remember?
Yeah, 10 years ago. Oh, that Doan worked me over again when they brought you in.
What's behind it, Red? What about your old shipmate Adler?
Yeah, he was mixed up in something.
Well, whatever it is, they're looking for it. You and I are supposed to know where it is. Do you?
Sure, I know where it is.
You do?
Sure. I hid it. It's in a house by the river. Belongs to a dame named Gina.
Well, why don't you tell them where it is, then? Why in blazes do you get us messed up like this? What is it, anyway?
I don't know. It's wrapped in brown paper, and I didn't open it, but I heard them talking about it. It's the motive for Cy's murder. Yeah. They're trying to frame me with it, and then with all the witnesses that saw me and Adler together, it's going to take a better story than mine to talk me out of it.
What is your story? Try it out on me.
Well, I ran into Cy Adler yesterday after his ship docked. We had a few drinks, and then I met him last night at the hotel.
Yeah, I found the note he sent you. That's what put me on your trail.
Well, he had this bundle with him. He was a little late, and he had to go back to the ship. So, to speed things up for dinner, he asked me if I'd run this important bundle to a place called Conover's Bar.
Yeah, on Southbridge Road. It's a lovely place.
The only one I was supposed to give it to was Gina.
So?
Well, she wasn't there, so I found out where she lived. She wasn't there either. So I got halfway back with it, and a young Chinese stopped me with a note from Cy telling me to get that bundle out of sight or he was a dead duck. So I took it back to Gina's and hid it.
You're a great boy, Red.
Oh, how was I to know it was so hot? Well, where I made my mistake was in keeping Cy's note. Middleton and Doan found it, and it made my lies sound weak. But it's better than one of those Singapore murder trials.
Not for me, it isn't. Come on, let's take a look at this door.
Why, you're wasting your time, Skip.
Wait a minute, Carney. I'll unlock it for you.
Who in the devil's that?
I didn't recognize the voice, but I did recognize the towhead after the door had opened. It was the pint-sized gangway watch I talked to on the Steel Traveler. He walked in with a revolver in his right hand and snapped on the lights with his left.
Ah, small world, huh, Carney? You got a couple of sweet-looking faces, both of you.
I didn't think there was room enough in this deal for anybody else.
Yeah, where do you fit?
I guess it doesn't make much difference. I'm looking out for myself. Maybe I can help you boys.
What do you want?
Well, don't be coy, Carney. You know what I want.
You forget too easy, like Middleton and Doan. We don't know where it is.
Well, that's too bad.
Why is it too bad? What do we get out of it if we deal with you?
Well, I could hold the other two off of you.
Where are they now?
Down on your ship.
You think they'll find it down there?
Would I be here talking to you if I did? Why don't you boys get smart? Now, there's a way out of this for the three of us. Say, Redhead.
I couldn't believe it when he turned his back on me, but I didn't take time to think. He made a few steps toward Red, and I rushed. All right, he'll stay there for a while.
Pick up his gun, Skipper. Let's get out of here.
All right.
Oh, if I can just get my hands on that Doan, just for a little while. About half the time he had me will be enough.
You know, Red, I wish I knew that towhead better. Wish I knew how smart or stupid he was.
He was stupid enough to get us out of there.
That's what I mean, Red. How do you know it was stupid? Maybe they figured we'd head for that package. Maybe they fed the towhead to us so they could follow us.
Yeah. Well, before I fold up, I want to see that motive put someplace where it'll cool off.
We We did our best to lose anybody tailing us. When we got back to Gina's house, we could see the dim lights shining through the window.
It looks quiet enough, Skipper.
I've had bad luck in that house so far tonight. Let's do this right.
Oh, I wish I had my 45.
Let's move up closer. If she's alone, we'll keep going right on in. I'll take the door first. You come in a few feet behind.
Right.
Oh, let's try it. Shut up, Gina. Take it easy.
Phil!
Stay right there now, Gina. Isn't that I don't trust you after what we were to one another, but I like you standing right there the way you are.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Quite a thing, isn't she, Ray? Where are Middleton and Doan?
I don't know.
Gina, you've seen yourself what happens to people who lie in this house. Would you like to have that beautiful face messed up like ours?
I don't know where they are. They didn't come back here.
Here, Red, take the 38 and look the place over. I think she's leveling, but check anyway.
Yeah, and I'll bring that blasted package in. I stowed it in her bedroom.
What do you say, Phil? What do you say?
The stuff we've been arguing about, gorgeous.
You lied to me. You don't tell truth to me.
That's been a little hard for me to believe, too.
No, Phil, it can't be here, not all this time.
You know, maybe the attraction we found for one another would have lasted longer if we'd known. How gorgeous?
Well, here's the motive, Skipper, wrapped like a birthday present.
That is mine. Please, Phil, that is mine.
All right, hold it, Gina. We're all excited about this. We'll open it together. Go ahead, Red.
Look at this, Skipper.
For Red and me, the realization soaked in sort of slowly because we'd never seen so much money in all our lives. They were the same kind of bills I'd seen in Cy Adler's locker, U.S. 50s. There were 50 bundles of them. 200 bills in each bundle. There was motive enough for a dozen murders.
How do you like that? You can't say we don't pick them with money, Skipper.
Yeah, counterfeit or not. Let's talk, shall we, Gina? Where'd this stuff come from?
The money they are made in China. Cy brought them here. Middleton, he was going to take them to America, but Cy stole them to take to America himself.
He was bringing them to you, beautiful. Weren't your shapely little fingers in the pie someplace?
I don't lie to you. Cy, he was my husband. We were going to be very rich. We could be very rich now, three of us.
Shall we go, Red?
Yeah, I'll get the stuff wrapped.
Phil, won't you listen to me?
I did listen, gorgeous.
Shall I tip her 50, Skipper, for her trouble?
Hey, Red, we got callers. Get that stuff out of sight. We should have gotten out of here. Come here, Gina. You're not going anyplace. And no noise. Come on, in the bedroom where you won't get shot. We weren't too gentle, but we were fast. We lashed her hands and feet so she couldn't thrash around and got a gag into her mouth. Then we went back to wait. We took each side of the door and let them come in. I had Middleton on my side. I grabbed him and held on. He was easy. But Doan wasn't. He slipped through Red's grip. When I saw him level his 45 at Red, I spun towards him. He landed on his back. But Middleton used the opening to lay his automatic across my head.
Get up, Carney. Now, do you, collectively or separately, feel strong enough to bargain? Where's the package, Gallagher?
In the customs office.
Yeah, we got tired of waiting to hear you quote your author.
The lying bullshit, but I'm not waiting to hear any more. You first, huh, Gallagher? Quicker than your buddy Adler.
Just a minute, Doan.
You!
You better drop that gun.
It was the pint-sized towhead standing in the doorway, another 38 in his hand. Take him, Doan. But he was better prepared than the rest. Doan barely moved his hand an inch before the 38 spoke. I tried to reach Middleton, but I just missed. I stopped him before he fired again, but the first one had caught the towhead. A bright stain blossomed below his shoulder. Take Middleton, Red! I'll see what I can do for our boy Shorty here.
Come on, you shouldn't be standing up anyway. Stay there. How is he, Skipper?
He's got a bad shoulder. He'll make it.
No, I can't figure him.
I can't either, Red. I don't know whether to turn him in or not. I'm going to take a look in his pockets.
No, I can't figure him making a play like that. Maybe he didn't let us lead them here, but...
Yeah, I guess he did let them. Look at here.
A T-man. Well, how do you like that?
You're all right. You're all right, sir.
Where are Middleton?
Well, they're here. You got him nailed.
Counterfeit?
It's here, too. Better lie back and rest.
Sorry, I couldn't work closer to you boys, but I just didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know about you either.
I had to get them with the counterfeit in their possession. Your mate here was the only one who knew where it was. Fine thing.
That's my mate.
All I needed was a chance. You can see that.
Chinese-made counterfeit is the best that's been getting into the States. Even the experts have been missing it. I've been on this 8 months for the department. With Middleton, I think we got it stopped. Here,
No, don't try to get up.
Oh.
He's got too much guts for his build. Go call the British Customs Office in someplace. Will you, Red? I'll stick around. I want to see that our Treasury Department doesn't come out on the short end of the credit for this. Wait till Washington hears what I tell him about this bantamweight. By noon the next day, the living culprits were testing the bars of 2 jail cells. Doane was trying out the Singapore morgue, and the pint-sized towhead who turned out to be a giant named Kemper was resting easily in a hospital. The next morning, we cast off and threaded our way out through the busy harbor and picked up the wind streaming across the Strait of Malacca.
Stand by to make sail!
The breeze blew some life into a crew sluggish from the heat of the harbor. Stations were manned and halyards were gripped by ready fingers.
Port safe! Make sail!
The power from arms and backs made the reeds sting and the mainsail danced jerkily up into place. The jib went out. Then the mizzen. The Scarlet Queen dipped into the swells. Her bowsprit and the figurehead beneath flirted with the wind-swept ripples that ran beneath them.
Well, Skipper, I guess we'll get there at this rate. And Penang is a good port, too.
What do you mean, too? Like Singapore?
Well, there aren't as many people to get into trouble in Penang.
Well, of course, that might mean that there's more trouble per capita.
There you go again. And practically all you had to do was make love to a beautiful woman.
Ah, she was, wasn't she, Red?
Yeah. I wonder what makes a charmer like that go crooked, Skipper.
Oh, probably ambition, Red. Keeping up with the Joneses.
That's a shame, isn't it? What she's wasting behind bars.
Well, we don't have to worry with our girl.
No, sir, Skipper. Here, to the Queen.
To the Scarlet Queen. After you, mate. After you. Log entry. The Ketch Scarlet Queen. 5:30 p.m. Wind brisk. Sky hazy. Carrying full sail. Ship secure for night. Signed, Philip Carney. Master.
The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Log entry. The Ketch Scarlet Queen. Philip Carney, master. Position 3 degrees 12 minutes north, 100 degrees 20 minutes east. Wind brisk, sky overcast. Remarks: departed Penang after discharging cargo and non-paying passengers. Reason for free passage: the Bubble Dancer and the Buccaneers. In the 4 days that had passed since we'd cleared Singapore Harbor, weather conditions had changed from calm and fair to roaring gales. And on the 5th night, we were still feeling our way northward through the Malacca Strait.
What a night, Skipper.
You can have it, mate. It was the sloppiest weather we've had since we left the States.
Oh, go on below and get something dry on outside here and something wet inside here. Skipper, I'll take over.
Okay, Red. I could use both. I made a few steps toward the cabin passageway when a hail from the bow lookout stopped me. Reporting lights ahead, Red. We're farther out of position than I thought. There it is. The devil, there's a string of them. It's Voyage, Red, at the harbor. The harbor? Well, we can use it. Thanks be praised. Hey, Captain Phil! Yeah, Nielsen. Can you come forward, sir? Yeah. What you got, Nielsen? I'm not sure, sir. It looks like a life raft. It was a life raft, all right. But there wasn't much life left in the single passenger when we got her aboard. All right, easy there. What's the area between us? Never mind, men. Better put her down in the lee of this hatch. She wasn't in shape to be carried anyplace. I knew when I saw the reddened water that dripped from her clothing that she was suffering from more than exposure.
Stay away.
She was dying from bullet wounds.
Stay away. Machine guns. Don't go, machine guns.
What?
Stay away. The lights. Where's the lights?
No, you're all right. We'll get you ashore as soon as we can. We're heading right for the harbor.
Oh, there is no harbor.
Now, just take it easy. Try to rest.
Oh, no, listen. I'm all right. I know what I'm saying. Those lights.
What about them?
The ship wrecked following those lights. They were machine guns. Everybody killed.
What?
There's no harbor. Some kind of drop. Those lights. They're rocks. Rocks.
Yeah. Hey, stand by to come about! Start her about, Red! Start her about if she jives! We're bearing down on a reef!
And so Mutual continues The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen, written by Gil Dowd and Bob Tallman, and starring Elliott Lewis. The Scarlet Queen, proudest ship to plow the seas, bound for uncharted adventure. Every week a complete entry in the log, and every week a league further in the Voyage of the Scarlet Queen.
She's a game little... Oh. Gallagher, she's dead. She was full of machine gun slugs. What kind of deal is... I don't know. Let's go in the cabin and have a drink, shall we? Yeah. Are you just going to leave her here on deck, Skipper? I'll have the crew reference and sail for her. I'm afraid that's the best we can do for her now. That was a devil of a deal, that poor dame. What do you think, Red? We'll up sail in about 20 minutes and take her to Penang? What was the name of the ship, did she say? No. You know what she kept talking about while she could talk? No, what? About keeping us off that reef. That's all she talked about. It's a trap of some kind. Those boys are strung out to fool you into thinking it's a safe harbor, but they lead right to a reef. And that's how her ship was wrecked. Then when the poor guys tried to land, they were machine gunned. From what she said, somebody was operating a big light ashore, picking off all the survivors like clay pigeons. Sounds like salvage pirates, doesn't it? Sounds like it. What else? What is that joint, you know? No, I'm not so sure of our position in this weather. I haven't had a sextant sight since yesterday. I'm afraid we have to lay to out here until the weather clears before we can find out.
Yeah. I don't suppose it matters much what the place is, does it, Skipper? They'd be crazy to go in there to investigate with a flock of machine guns waiting for them, wouldn't they?
Sure.
Yeah.
What would they get out of it outside a shot of?
That's right. Well, why don't you pour another drink, Skipper?
Yeah, sure, Red. You know, one way you look at it, she saved the Queen.
She? The lady.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Maybe even our lives.
Yeah, but we'd be nuts to bust in there and get a ship full of slugs and get knocked around.
Sure. It's none of our business if somebody's got a paying deal working.
No.
They got her ship, but they didn't get ours. That's what counts.
Yeah. We got a time contract on the cargo we got aboard, haven't we? Yeah. We'd lose a lot of money even if we were only one day late getting to Penang. Isn't that right? How much?
$500.
What?
We'd lose $500.
I'll split it with you, Skipper.
The devil you will, Gilligan.
Well, I meant
it's
if
my
you want...
ship she saved.
Yeah.
I'll take the loss.
Oh.
Did you think I'd sail away and leave that death trap in operation? Who's ever behind those phony lights is going to have some visitors. The morning broke grim and lowering. The wind had lightened. We stood in toward the island. Giant rocks with razor-sharp edges crouched near the shore like sea monsters with open jaws. We saw the false Voyage leading straight for the rocks. One light even mounted on a cliff ashore. And some wreckage from a ship bobbed in the water. The cliff that faced us had blotted out any view of the other side of the island. But when we started to circle it, we found the real anchorage, a small bay rimmed by a strip of beach. Then out of the brush that bordered the beach, there swarmed the mangiest group of men I've ever seen. Moros, Malays, mongrels. About 20 of them, armed to the teeth.
Captain Carney, sir, there they are. Shall they open fire?
No, hold it, Nelson.
What kind of reception is that? They're waving to us. I don't trust them, Skipper. It's another trick.
Don't worry, Gallagher. I don't trust them either. But you can't open fire in a guy's face when he's holding out his hand to shake yours.
Yeah, well, they aren't shaking mine. Look at them. The scum of the sea. And those aren't lace hankies they're waving.
No, they're well armed. Then why didn't they take cover so they could ambush us when we come ashore? Why show themselves and offer a perfect target?
They're tricky, Skipper.
That tall one there, the big guy without a shirt, he must be the boss, huh?
Yeah. Look at him grin. You'll be grinning with that, those teeth.
Go tell the crew to stay out of sight and stand by, Red. You and I will put the small boat over the side.
Okay, lay off. Lay off the boat. We can get it up on the beach ourselves. Who speak English?
Here I am, Captain. Come on up.
It was the tall one we'd spotted from the deck. His features were Korean and scarred. He was built like a wedge from his narrow hips up to his heavy shoulders. The build that spelled trouble.
All right, you men, go on to what you want.
But his breathing made me wonder what kind of trouble.
Welcome, gentlemen. You wasted no time in accepting my invitation, especially considering the storm.
Yeah. Some people weren't so lucky in that storm.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we did catch a little something in our trap last night. Not much, but it helps. But you, of all men, know how that is, huh?
Yeah. Every little bit helps, huh?
Exactly, Captain. Since my ship was smashed on this reef, I've been hard put for profitable occupation. And this salvage work makes me feel that I'm accomplishing something.
Yeah, it's nice you can keep your hand in.
Yeah. Just how many ships have you collected?
Half a dozen. All small, but they add up. Sometimes my friend, the sea, sends them to me. And sometimes I, Kim, have to give my old friend a hand.
So you rigged the lights, huh? Kim?
Right. Last night's accident was literally a windfall, coming as it did on the eve of your arrival.
Yeah. Nice stroke of luck.
A little rough on the crew, maybe, but...
Oh, come, my friends. You two are all the sailors as practical as I am, from what I've heard about you. Now, come on. Here's the trail to the camp.
Yeah, sure. Tell me, exactly what have you heard about it?
Don't be modest, Captain. Your reputation has preceded you. That's why I was so sure you'd accept my proposition. All three of us have the same appreciation for the profits of the high seas.
The three of us?
What a trio. I, Kim, the most clever salvage artist of the China coast. And you. Aha.
Yeah, what about us?
Only the most infamous buccaneers of the South Pacific. And I suppose I should feel greatly honored that two such celebrated pirates come when I ask them to.
Oh, now, look, you're overdoing it a little, aren't you, Kim?
Hardly, Mr. McPherson. Every skipper in these waters is afraid of Cash Wilson and Scotch McPherson. But tell me, Wilson, how did you and your first mate manage to respond to my proposition so soon? Huh?
Well, it was a matter of luck. A good ship and a good helmsman, McPherson.
Yes, I envy you that ship. One reason I made my offer was the reputation of your catch.
I hope you don't have any salvage ideas.
Yeah. A couple of men dead.
We'll make this the fire partnership. Share and share alike. Well, Wilson, do we understand each other?
Now, let me get this straight, Kim. We provide the ship, huh?
I thought that was agreed.
What have you got to offer?
Well, like I explained in the message, salvage worth a good price in certain ports. Now everything is packed and ready to load aboard your ship. It shouldn't take more than a couple of hours. Then we'll leave.
I see.
Anh có chói. Chúng em phong tới. Chúng ta em có cho các bạn mời. Xích cái hay gì? Mexico ấy. Đang nói tới đây.
Cho đi là ha. Cái đi là ha.
Bà đây ha. Ở đây.
Miss McPherson?
Yeah, Captain Wilson?
You better help Mr. Choi. See that he finds everything okay on the ship.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead, McPherson, and see that they get started with the loading.
Yeah, okay.
Red, what's the deal, Skipper? What kind of game is this we're playing? Who am
I
I?
gather you're my mate, and you and I have built up a reputation in these parts as a couple of grade-A pirates.
Oh, that's great. Just great. Well, I guess we better figure something out before somebody hangs us from a yard arm.
Red.
Huh?
Let them go on with their loading. If we can get them all aboard, we'll lock them in a hold and give a nice, fast passage to the British authorities in Penang.
Yeah, but let's hope they don't tumble. That we're not Wilson and McPherson.
All right, stick with them while they're loading the small boat, Red. Get aboard before they do and tip off the crew. Tell them they never heard of Gallagher or Carney. We gotta play it this way.
Okay.
Hold it.
Huh?
Here comes the Russo-Korean. Okay, McPherson, get started.
Okay, I'll see you down there.
Right?
It will require about 20 trips on this small boat, Captain.
Oh, okay, Kim. My crew will stow the stuff as your boys put it aboard. McPherson will handle it.
Good. Well, that leaves you and me a few hours of leisure in which to get acquainted. Wilson, I can tell you that we're looking forward to getting a deck under our feet again after 3 months of rotting ashore.
Yeah, I can see how you would.
Come with me, Wilson. I believe I have a little surprise for you.
Another?
A pleasant one, I'm sure. This way. It's only a few short steps. Mind the brush.
Wow. This, I take it, is headquarters.
Yes. It is humble, but we're involved in the way of life here. Most of the ships that were unfortunate enough to run aground here were well outfitted, while unfortunately we were not quite able to rescue any of the passengers or crews. We were able to rescue some furniture, even cook stoves and generators for power and light. Here we are, Wilson. What do you think?
Quite a housing project.
Built entirely of salvage materials.
Huh? And this little mansion is where you bunk, huh?
If it seems a bit pretentious, there's a reason. As you know.
I have no doubt.
Su Ling not only demands these comforts, in my opinion, she deserves them.
Su Ling?
No other. I imagine you're looking forward to seeing her again, huh?
Oh, yeah, I am.
I understand that you were old friends. Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Go right in.
Well, Su Ling, here is your old friend, Captain Wilson.
Captain Wilson?
She was Chinese and young, in a rough cotton shirt, loose cotton trousers. She looked at me. My hand was moving toward my automatic. She looked at Kim. His fingers were already wrapped around his. Then she looked back at me as if she was waiting for one of us to start something.
Your old friend, my Lotus Blossom.
But not like my old friend at all.
What is this?
No, you're not acting at all like Cash Wilson I know.
Explain yourself, my dream of love.
Cash, for heaven's sake, is this the way to greet an old friend?
I'm sorry, Su Ling. It's just that
Well, that's more like it. Come here, Cash. Let me look at you.
Yeah, sure. And let me look at you. Baby, you're more beautiful than I realized.
You have not changed, Cash. Still the same sweet liar. But I love it, darling. I really love it.
Yeah. How long's it been, anyway?
San Francisco?
Yeah.
Oh, 4 years at least, I guess, hasn't it?
That long?
The old Manchu temple on Grant Avenue.
Yeah.
You know how I met this barnacle sea dog, Kim?
By heart, my passion flower. You were doing your,
My artistic oriental interpretive dance. And he broke my balloon with a lighted cigarette. You remember, Cash?
Yeah. Yeah. I was quite the cut-up in those days.
Well, don't stop now. My husband is a very understanding man. Are you not, Kim?
Very understanding. Up to a point, my Lotus Blossom.
Well, tell me about yourself, Cash. As if I haven't heard.
Well, I guess the word does get around, huh?
You have made quite a name for yourself.
Yeah, I have. Made quite a name for myself.
Well, I owe you an apology, Wilson. For just a moment there, it occurred to me that perhaps you were not Cash Wilson at all.
What gave you that crazy idea?
The fact that you made no mention of Su Ling after coming here from Singapore on her behalf.
I wasn't quite sure of you either, Kim. I found it pays to be careful in this.
You're right, Wilson. Well, now that I've given you your little surprise, I trust you and my angel of beauty have some old memories to relive for a few minutes. I'd like to have a few words with Mr. McPherson, Wilson. You join me when you're ready.
Yeah, all right. Well, here we are, huh, Su Ling?
Listen, I do not care who you are. I must talk to you.
Where can I meet you later? I can't leave him alone with my mate. I gotta get down there.
Meet me right after dark on the beach at the north end of the bay on the blinker light.
All right, gorgeous. It's a date. How we doing, McPherson?
Doing all right. Skipper will be loaded by sundown.
Good, then we'll leave at dawn.
We'll have to destroy the Voyage. I don't like loose ends.
Oh, that's easy. Puncture the boys. We'll let the sea cover up for it.
How about the big light up on those rocks?
Never mind. It was here when we came. It's a ship's blinker. Who knows? It may serve a useful purpose in some future emergency. It may even save a life.
You're getting charitable, Kim.
I'm a very charitable man when it does not interfere with my profit.
You got a great code of ethics.
Like your own, Wilson, it serves my purpose. And I'm honest in my way. That's why I don't bother to remove that blinker light. It's the property of others.
By nightfall, the job was done. The cargo was aboard, and the last boatload of Kim's crew, supervised by Gallagher, were rowing out to the Queen. Kim headed for the camp for a final checkup. I slipped out of sight and started up the beach. Su Ling was waiting for me at the end of the bay.
They are gone?
Yeah. They're all aboard but Kim. He went up to the camp.
Then he's looking for me. Listen, Captain, whoever you are.
Used to be Phil Carney, and I'm sorry I didn't meet you behind your bubble in that Grant Avenue dive, beautiful. Say, who is this guy, Cash Wilson?
The worst man I ever knew, except my husband. They certainly deserve each other. That is why I suggested Wilson in the first place.
You were the one who wanted to bring him together?
Yes, I had a reason. I got Kim to send 2 of our natives in handmade tampon to Singapore. They had message from me asking Wilson to come. I had my idea. Of course, Kim had his.
What's the rest of the deal?
As soon as he gets aboard, Kim plans to take over your ship.
Yeah?
You know what for?
I'm beginning to catch on.
To use as his own for piracy.
Well, that doesn't surprise me somehow. Where'd you find a nice guy like that to marry?
I would have gotten rid of him
You had not interfered.
Me interfered? This island could have been in anybody's way. What do you mean?
I talked him into sending for Cash Wilson because I knew they would be at one another's throats over me. And I knew Cash would win. Even that would be better than Kim. And then you show up.
I'm sorry, Sue Ling. No matter how you look at it, I'm sorry.
Then why don't you kill him? I warn you. You know what he's going to do? Stop him and get me away from him.
You know I might just do that, Gordon. He doesn't know it, but that's what we came in here for.
You do not know it, Captain Carney. But I am glad to learn of it before it's too late.
No.
Careful, Captain. There's no truer gun than this.
Then wait.
First, Captain Carney, I must ask you to hand over your gun. Quickly.
Yeah.
And you, Suling, were planning to get rid of me, eh?
No.
Well, I want to thank you for relieving me of you.
No, Gil. No, Gil.
Don't cry. I don't like it. I don't like crying. I said don't cry. Don't cry.
I was on top of him before he could turn back to me. As big as he was, I hadn't counted on the strength that he had. But I learned in the space of a few seconds. His right arm was a club and it sent me collapsing into the brush. I didn't go back to the beach. All I could think of was getting away. I ran for a few yards. I realized that I was stopped. The cliff loomed ahead of me. I had to turn and face Kim's bullets or climb. I climbed. I dragged myself upward, putting my hands where there was no place to grip, putting my feet where there was no foothold. When Kim stopped firing, I knew why he was starting up the cliff after me.
You won't get away, Carney!
I moved faster. Reached the top and scrambled over the edge. And I stopped. The big blinker light was a few feet away, blinking out in the straight. The light that Kim had so charitably said might save someone's life. Kim was nearing the top now. I could hear him scrambling up the cliff. I got to the light. I swung it around. I put my shoulder to it. Tilted it down. Till it shone into his eyes.
Carney, what are you doing?
Blinded by the thousands of candle power, he hesitated momentarily, long enough for me to pry loose a boulder with my heel. I kept the light in his face.
I'll get you yet.
I worked the boulder to the edge.
I'll get you.
It balanced for a moment, and then I sent it crashing down. Kim reacted to the sudden pain and missed his foothold. He plunged to the rocks below. We didn't wait for dawn. With the incoming tide, we left the bay and headed out into Malacca Strait with more cargo than we'd entered with. The next afternoon, we docked at Penang, discharged our cargo consigned and salvage, turned our free passengers over to the authorities, and stood out with empty holds in an order to pick up Silicon in Surabaya.
Stand by! To make sail!
There was a good, fresh breeze sweeping out from the Malay Peninsula, going to waste and eager to be caught. Gallagher shouted the crew to the job of catching it.
Starboard feet! Make sail!
The mainsail climbed into place and blossomed out, taut with wind. The jibs went out. Then the mizzen. And the Scarlet Queen, light in the hull from lack of cargo ballast, took a frivolous pitch and skipped like a schoolgirl onto her course.
Well, Captain Wilson, any sign of some good pirate loot?
That wasn't funny, Red. That Kim wasn't kidding.
I know he wasn't, Skipper. I was just trying to cheer you up. Did he really mean to kill her, or was that a wild shot he was throwing at you?
It wasn't wild.
Yeah, well, you kind of paid it off, didn't you?
Not the way I would have liked to. I was a little late.
Oh, come on, Skipper. There's a bright side. The Peninsula Company didn't fine us for being late with that cargo, and those cops thanked us for what we did, and we didn't go onto that reef ourselves.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it, Red.
Yeah.
The Queen wouldn't have looked so good hung up on those rocks.
That's right. And we can thank that poor dame on the life raft for saving the Queen.
And our necks, too.
You know, Skipper, we get saved every once in a while by a woman. Yeah, well, they're kind of handy to have around once in a while.
But I like the one we got around all the time.
Yeah, I'll bet. To the Queen, Skipper. To the Scarlet Queen. After you, mate. After you.
Log entry. The Ketch Scarlet Queen. 5:30 p.m. Wind fresh. Sky fair. Sea calm. Ship secure for night. Signed, Philip Carney. Master.
Mutual invites you to sail into further adventure on the Voyage of the Scarlet Queen next week at this same time. The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen stars Elliot Lewis as Phil Carney with Ed Max as Gallagher. And tonight featured William Conrad as Kim with Lillian Bayef as Su Ling. Music scored and conducted by Richard Orant. The Scarlet Queen, produced by James Burton, is written by Gil Dowd and Bob Tolman.
The Voyage of the Scarlet Queen has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.